This is the Be More podcast. I am your host, Jack Williams, and this is a show all about health, nutrition, mindset, and performing at our very best. And this is going to be your catalyst to being more. Welcome to the Be More podcast. Today I'm joined by the man, Ben Mash. I've been buzzing to get you on, mate. Super excited to hear your story and throw some questions at you because I think you've got a lot of wisdom in that head of yours. How are you? Well?
We'll see. Thanks for the introduction, buddy. Good
How's
to
things?
be on. I've been listening.
Yeah?
I'm excited to be on, actually. Yeah, it's my first ever podcast. So
Is it?
Yeah, I've been. You've got, to be honest, you got me into podcasts.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've heard about them for ages and then never actually bothered downloading the app. But now I've got it on the hooks.
What ones are you on at the moment?
Gary V.
Yeah.
Jeff Rogan. Obviously, your one. Who else do I listen to? I've been listening to David Goggins.
That guy's a machine.
There's loads, man. Like, it's a whole new world, isn't it?
I'm reading his book at the moment, Goggins. He's just a nutter, isn't he?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
His book's on my to-read list.
My list is just getting longer and longer. But yeah, without further ado, mate, tell your story. I think the guests are going to enjoy this.
My story. So, the story of how I got into network marketing?
Yeah,
my
maybe
story
just
of my whole life.
Yeah, let's go through your whole life, mate. Let's tell people what's going on.
Whole life. Okay, cool. So, at school, never the brightest of lads at school. Just I'm doing the minimal to get by and get away with it. I was always quite into my fitness and stuff. Never that good at it, actually. I was crap at school, all of that stuff. But I just liked it. I was passionate about it. It was fun for me. Left school, had all intention of joining the Marines straight from school. I'd almost pretty much signed up for it, and then broke my leg final year of, it was actually doing PGCSE playing football. I broke my leg, my tibia and fibula, double fracture. So that threw that one out the window. So I never actually pursued that. Had almost 2 years of no fitness. And didn't really know what to do with myself. My old man's background is construction. He was bricklayer his whole life. He managed to get me an apprenticeship because he was like, "You've got to do something." He was like, "Don't go to college or university. It'll be a waste of time for you." Because obviously he did a trade. He wanted me to do a trade. So I said, "All right, fine, I'll do a trade, but I don't want to be a bricklayer. I'll do a carpentry trade because my uncle was a carpenter." I was like, if I can be a carpenter, I'll do that because I quite like wood. Because at school I like woodwork. He got me a bricklaying apprenticeship. So took me up to London literally about 2 days after I finished school. I'd pretty much just got off crutches, so my leg was still a bit limpy. And then threw me straight in the deep end. 16 years of age, I was up in London. I did 2.5 years bricklaying apprenticeship, and I just did it. I didn't know what to do, so I just did it. It was quite fun because I was young and I was working with guys like rough, rugged builders, like all sorts. It was fun for me because all my mates were all mucking around at college and I was earning decent money, being an adult. So, but then as that wore on, I think 11 years I was in construction. I ended up leaving London because I hated the commute. Set out, worked for myself, worked for a few local companies, and I started working for myself, self-employed for 5 years, I think. But I could just see myself. It wasn't fun. It wasn't what I enjoyed doing. It was good money, but it was just I literally worked for the weekend. Almost pissed my money up the wall. I wasted a lot of money over those 10 years. Earned a lot, wasted a lot. I wasn't going anywhere. I'll tell you how it come to almost an end. Is my back was in bits because I wasn't really looking after my body too much. I was just working long days, long weeks. You'll always hear bricklayers have bad backs, and my back was getting worse and worse. And I'd seen chiropractor, osteopath, you name it, anyone that could straighten my back out. Trouble is, I was playing football at the weekend still, and then going to work Monday morning trying to pick stuff up, and just my back would go. Or even sometimes I'd get out of bed. It's because you don't stretch. I wasn't stretching playing football. Are you there? My phone just rang.
No worries.
All those venues are going to be calling me back now, aren't they? If I put my phone on airplane mode, will I lose the podcast?
What, are you on?
I'll
On
just
the
keep binning
podcast
them. I'll bin them if they call again.
Yeah, no worries.
Where was that? Yeah, so I actually looked up online. I found a guy called Dr. Gene Luca, and he reckoned he could see you once. He charged like 60, 70 quid. It was twice as much as any other chiropractor. He was like, he'll see you once and he'll set you on the right path to, you know, healing yourself. And that guy literally changed everything. That's where I fell into personal development.
Really?
Guy changed everything. Yeah, he changed my whole mindset, like within an hour. Powerful.
What did he do then?
So pretty much he did everything that an osteopath did. Sorted my back, clipped, realigned my back, told me that my nutrition was crap, which was the first time I'd ever heard that. He looked at my hands and he was like, you're deficient in like silica. You're having way too many sugars in your diet. And I don't know how he could tell all this, but he pretty much told me what I was doing, and I knew I was doing it. I was like, this is interesting.
Wait,
didn't really believe it all
hands, he said this?
Yeah, looking at my hands and the complexion of my skin and stuff. And like, he literally just sat, and it was like a consultation. He just sat and talked to me for about an hour. It was fascinating. I didn't want to leave. You know, when you start talking to someone, you're like, this is inspiring. He recommended I got out of construction. He was like, look, you're a young lad. You're, at the time, I think I was 23, 24. He was like, you've got your whole life ahead of you. Like, you don't have to do this. And I'd always been told I did, because my old man was like, work 6-7 days a week, retire at the age of 40, build a house, build a family and stuff. And so that's all I ever knew. And then there's this guy who was quite influential, to be fair. I actually follow him now on YouTube and Instagram. He was telling me I don't have to. I was interested. I was intrigued. He asked me he said, you need to get into reading. And he recommended a few books to read, which I've written down, actually. I'll talk about them in a bit. But that 1 hour changed everything. Changed it. He set the wind in my sails to the direction I've been going ever since, pretty much, which was, I'll be forever grateful for that guy.
And have you seen him since?
No, I actually recently reached out, probably about 4 months ago. I gave him a call and left him a voicemail because he didn't answer, because we were doing one of our 30-day challenges, and it was based around mindset and gratitude. It was Jordan Head actually headed up this section on the mindset, and one of the gratitude challenges is we had to reach out to someone who had changed your life and just let them know. If you hadn't let them know. So I rang this guy up. I was thinking, who's had a massive impact on my life? And this was it must have been almost 6 years on. And I just rang him up, left a voicemail. He rang me back about an hour later, and he was like, you know what? So grateful that you actually did that, because I see people all the time, and because I see them for an hour, I very rarely hear from them again. You're the only person that's ever actually got back in touch with me. And we just started talking, and he just started launching a YouTube channel, and he's building his Instagram and stuff. So,
mate, that's giving me goosebumps. I love that.
Oh, it's crazy, honestly. It's mental. Like, just that one phone call. I just felt awesome for the rest of like that day. Like, it just fully supercharged me up. So I always recommend people do that now. So that's the power of Jordan Head. He's so into all of that. It's amazing.
Attitude of gratitude, mate. I love that.
That's it. Yeah, I'm all into the gratitude now. It's something that doesn't come naturally to me, but I love it. It's so powerful.
So yeah, carry on, mate. You left it. The guy.
So I left.
So
he recommended I read a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Nice.
And if you've read the book, you know.
Yeah.
I'd read books.
So this was your first proper book then, really?
That was my first proper personal development book. I'd read like James and the Giant's Peach, or like, you know, the ones you have to read at school just to read them. I was not interested. And he was like, read it. And then I went and got it, and I looked at it, I was like, that's readable. Couldn't put it down. Read the whole thing 2 or 3 times. And then at the back of that book, it's got a list of other books to read. And that led me on to Think and Grow Rich. And then obviously that just cascades into more and more and more books. But the message of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, like, it aligned to me so well, because I had not a poor dad, but I had, if you've read the book, you know the poor dad who's like into like, that you got to get a trade, or he was a teacher, wasn't he, in the book? And it was like, look, you just got to work hard, put the hours in, and it all pays off. That's pretty much the message that my dad was telling me. And then you had this other story of this completely other life about investing your time and being smart with your money and stuff. And I was like, okay, I get it.
When did Rich Dad Poor Dad come out? Because if you think about it, like the millennial audience, it suits them so well. Sales must be great at the moment, because millennials don't really want to work. They see this Rich Dad Poor Dad model and must think it's just completely against the grain, isn't it? And we're hardwired to think job, work your whole life. And it's funny because I lost my book, my copy of it, and I just bought one. It came yesterday, so again I got goosebumps. It's weird talking about it now.
Amazing. What's the likelihood of that? Yeah, I don't have mine because I always give my books to people to read, but I'm dreadful at getting them back. So my library just depletes constantly because I'm always giving them out to team members and stuff to read. But I've actually had 2 copies, and I've bought 5 copies because whenever I get a Secret Santa, I always give that book. Nice. People always don't get it. I'm like, look, just trust, just read it. There'll be a time when you read that book, and it might, and it might not. It might change everything for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the book, man. Powerful book.
Love it. So then you read that. Then what happened?
Leads you on to Think and Grow Rich, which then gets you into like thinking about investing your time and money better. And obviously, I'd taken on board what John Luca had said about, like, you know, you don't have to do this. You're struggling with your back. Maybe think about doing something else. So I had no idea what else to do. All I had was, you know, a bricklayer. That's all I could do. I was pretty good at it. Picked up naturally. So in Think and Grow Rich, they get you to write out like I can't think what it's called, it's like your action plan or like your 5-year plan or something like that. I just wrote out like what I wanted to achieve, the amount of money I wanted to earn by the time, I think it was 2020, which is quite interesting because obviously that's coming up now. We've got 1 more year to achieve that. And I'm going to get it. I'm not going to get it out until 2020, and just to see if those thoughts do become things. I can remember roughly what I wrote down. I wanted to, at the time, and you'll relate to this, I wanted to get into property development because obviously I was in the trade. I had construction. I had no idea how I was going to raise the money to do it. I just thought, you know, I'll carry on, maybe be a bit smarter with my trade and try and build a development company. Didn't happen whatsoever. I ended up, fast forward probably another year, not knowing what to do. I ended up going to Australia just off the cusp. I met my now wife, and she had already booked to go to Australia, Fran. She was going to go traveling because she was in teaching, wasn't enjoying it. And she just wanted to, you know, and people are like, I want to go find myself, which at the time I was like, you know what? I want to go find myself. Quite like this girl. I'm going to go. So I just went off.
You met her here and then went to Australia together?
Yeah, we met. I think we met at like a Halloween party the year before I went to Australia. So I went to Australia in, I think it was January 2014. So we must have met 2013. You know, we've seen each other on and off for a year. She always knew she was going to Australia. After a few months of seeing her, I was like, I'm coming to Australia. She was like, you're not coming with me? I was like, that's cool. I'm going to go to Melbourne. She was going to Sydney, and we were just like, we're both going to go and find ourselves. Which now I look back and I'm like, I'm glad I did it, but like, you can't just go and find yourself. Now, obviously, through personal development, I understand you have to, you know, create yourself. It's a different concept now. But yeah, I went to Australia, which was great. I think I needed that because the whole time I was still in that mindset of, I was doing a bit of personal development. I believed in it. I wasn't putting it into action. I was living at home. So I was earning great money, living at home, still wasting the money. I did start saving from Rich Dad Poor Dad. I was saving a percentage, but I was still wasting a lot. And then obviously going to Australia, I had to grow up because I wasn't living with the parents.
How long did you spend living there, out there?
I did a year. We did a whole year. My goal was to go and do something else, do a different job. Just, you know, try and find something else I'm passionate about. Try do something else, try my hand at a different job, which I did try. After traveling for a month, we settled down in Sydney, and I went for a job.
Oh, you went and met your now wife, did you?
Yeah, so she went to Melbourne. No, she went to Sydney, I went to Melbourne, and then we met up pretty much, well, straight away actually. And then settled in Sydney. She had family in Sydney, so we settled there. Did the whole East Coast trip, and then came back to Sydney. I love Sydney; it's brilliant. I think it's one of my favourite cities in the world. I think actually Sydney. If you haven't been to Sydney, you've obviously been.
Yeah, it's my favourite.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I love the lifestyle, and I think, to be honest, that's where I just developed the love for the healthy active lifestyle. Like, their view on life is brilliant. Like, they spend as much time outside having fun. They're all fit and healthy. Like, you very rarely see someone unhealthy, overweight. Like, they're all out there trying to like live their best life outside of work, which is brilliant. Where was I going with this? I'll go off on one a bit. Oh yeah, I went for a job, and this was a big change. This is a turning point. I always look back when you said, like, think of a few things. Like, this was one of the turning points for me. I went for a job in because I was into. I love bikes, or I used to love bikes a lot more than I do now. It was something I loved, was cycling. I was like, I saw these guys riding around on fixed geared bikes with their cool helmets on, stickers all over their lids, just dishing out like letters. And I was like, I'm going to go and do that. I think they were a bike courier or whatever they call it in Australia. I was like, I'm going to give that a go. Went for, had to buy a bike. I bought a bike. Cycled from like, we were living in, where we live in Annandale, which is east Sydney. Basically, I had to cycle like 2 hours for this job interview up in North Sydney for this bike courier. Turned up, got a bike, feeling confident. I was fit, so I was like, I can do this. It was all based on commissions, the whole job. Like, I'd read up on it. Like, you can, the more you deliver, the more you earn. So I was like, oh, this is perfect. It's long days. I can get up crack of dawn, go out and do the cycling thing, and then earn a good bit of money and then enjoy the time in Sydney. Did the whole interview. I was looking around as well in the room, and all the guys that are in there, they were like, they didn't look like they were going to be bike couriers, if you know what I mean. Without judging people, I was thinking, I've got this. I'm probably the fittest here. I'm the only one that turned up on a bike. We did the test, did the whole interview thing, and then this guy came back in the room and he was like, where's the POM? And I stuck my hand up thinking, yes, I've got this. He was like, mate, follow me, come outside. Went outside and he was like, yeah, we don't need you, mate. That is literally all he said. I was like, what do you mean? He was like, yeah, we don't need you. I was like, but what, did I not get the job? He was like, no, you're a traveller. You're a pommy traveller. You're probably just going to leave, and it's not worth us investing our time in you. And him saying it's not worth me investing my time in you, I was like, oh, hit me hard. That was like you you just have a turning point where you're like, right, things like this isn't cool. You know what I mean? I didn't really understand it at the time, but looking back now and like the amount of time I invest in people, like, I just think I go back to that and being like, this was one of those moments that changed a lot of how I think about people and things and work. So I ended up walking back because my pedal snapped off my bike as well that day. I had plastic pedals on the bike and I was riding back across the bridge with the ump because I didn't get the job I wanted, and my pedal snapped off. So then I had to. It was miles. I had to go like at least another hour and 15-minute ride. So I had to get on the tube, pay for a ticket for me and my bike, and then tube it back to Annandale where we were living, and then tell Fran that I didn't get the job, which she found hilarious. And then literally 3 doors down from the house we're staying at her auntie's, there's a small building firm building and building a new house. And I just walked past and I just said, look, guys, desperate, need a bit of money. Don't by any chance do the bricklayer? And the guy, Mark his name was, who ended up being a really good mate of mine, he was the site foreman. He was like, yeah, when can you start? I was like, whenever. He was like, can you start tomorrow? I was like, yep. And that was it. I did like 9 months bricklaying out there. It was brilliant. I didn't want to do it. Ended up doing mainly carpentry actually, because I do a lot of timber frame work out there. But it just drew me back into that construction lifestyle, which sucked a little bit, but it was a good experience.
Nice, mate.
So, yeah, that was
you decided to come back?
Huh?
Well, you decided to come back? You didn't want to stay out there?
Actually, we were on the cusp of like the company that I was working with, the construction company, R&M Builders, they're called. Great company, like a little family business, brilliant. Rod, who was the director, he actually wanted to sponsor me so I could stay. So he wanted me to become a foreman or a construction manager, and he was willing to sponsor me and Fran. so we could both stay out there. But and we were thinking about it, but you know, like after a year, how long did you go to Australia for?
Not long, only like, 2 separate trips of a month.
So after a year, you kind of like start building relationships, and you're like, I'm on the cusp of the relationships at home are dwindling, and I'm building a new life out here. Do we go back, or do we stay and give it a go for a couple of years? But then my sister actually got pregnant, and it was going to be the first of the siblings, so like it was going to be my first niece. So we're like, right, we'll go back at Christmas and maybe have like a month or two to decide whether we're going to, you know, I didn't say I wasn't going to come back forever. I always left it a little bit open, but we thought we'd head home, see family, and then didn't go back actually. Just everything else sort of like changed. I decided then to like get out of construction completely. I got back into it when I was in the UK again, because it's just, you know, quick money, straight back in with contacts. But that was when my best mate invited me. You're like this actually. I was thinking of going vegan when I went back, so I was like, I want to take back the healthy, active lifestyle. What can I do? I was like, I need to sort my nutrition out. It still wasn't good, and it still played in my mind that John Luke was like, you need to sort your nutrition out. So I was like, I'm going to go vegan, because it's really easy to do, like eat plant-based and eat healthy in Australia, and not so easy to do in UK.
So were you vegan in Australia, were you?
No, we just ate a lot healthier out there. And that's what, to be honest, I hadn't even cooked before I went to Australia. So I had to learn to cook and everything out there, because I was just living at home with mum. She was just cooking everything. Yeah. So I learned to look after myself out in Australia. But yeah, decided to go vegan when we came back. Went vegan for a month, failed because I didn't know anything about nutrition. Basically, I was eating kale and spinach. My lunchbox used to look hilarious. But then my mate at the time, Pat, he was like, look, I spoke to this dude on Instagram about nutrition, and he's got these plant-based products, and you're getting into your nutrition. I think you should check this out, because obviously you're looking at going vegan and stuff. And that's when I went along to my first Herbalife opportunity meeting and met Spills. And that was obviously another very big turning point in my life.
What was this? What year was this?
So I'd been back from Australia for a while, because I got back into construction, but I was still looking for a way out of construction, but I had no idea. And then obviously I went along to this Herbalife opportunity meeting, and I didn't want to go, but Pat had said that I'm going with, it's going to be me and Nick, and you can come if you want. I was like, what is it? I was asking loads of questions, you know, as it is. And I'd actually, funnily enough, heard of Herbalife in Australia. I'd seen in Sydney on the greens, people doing fit clubs and people wearing Herbalife, but it never clicked. So I just thought it was like, that was a fit club. It was just, that was the brand of the fit club. It was only when Pat mentioned to me, I looked up Dan Spiller on Instagram, started looking at Herbalife, and I was like, you know, and you're just like, can't be bothered to do that. It's just, I can't be bothered. It looks good, but I can't be bothered with it. It's probably all a scam. But Pat was like, I'm going, me, Nick, and you can come if you want. So there's going to be 3 of us. And he was like, Nick's really interested. He's thinking of doing it with me. And I was just like, you know, FOMO. You're like, I'm not having you guys do this and me not do it. So I went along, and that was it. I ended up doing it. And that was what, nearly 3 years ago now, which that has completely changed absolutely everything.
So yeah, tell us what's happened.
Well, the whole story of Herbalife?
Well, maybe like, yeah, what you network marketing thoughts, like give the audience maybe, because obviously you were so skeptical, like most people probably are. No, I was really skeptical when I first started. So what was the turning point for you where you thought, do you know what, like obviously you're full time now. Were you full time at the beginning? What was your transition? Like what happened?
So first off, went along to this Herbalife opportunity meeting, for those of you that don't know. Sat in a room full of really happy people, didn't get it, had one of these, I met Dan, nice, to this day, probably one of the nicest guys I've ever met, like can't do enough to help, like super positive and encouraging. I didn't get why these people in this room are so happy. It was weird, never been in that environment before, but I liked it. I left absolutely buzzing. I couldn't sleep. I was thinking of all of the opportunities that I could do. And instantly, I knew instantly this was something I could be passionate, or I am already slightly passionate about, and it's something I could see myself possibly doing which it aligned with like my purpose, which I didn't even know at the time what it was. But I saw it was something that in the future I could do instead of construction if I took it on board and actually rolled with it. So I said to Dan, who was my coach, I was like, look, don't get it. I can't see how I can do this. I'm a bricklayer. I've got no education in nothing. All I'm good at is laying bricks. And he was like, look, you don't have to. He was like, just try the products. If you're already taking supplements already, which I was already doing protein shakes at the gym. And at the time, I had no idea. I was actually, when I first started doing protein shakes, I was having a protein shake in the gym whilst I trained because I thought that's what you did. Which
I
now
see people doing that now, and I do see people doing that, to be fair.
Yeah, I do.
Look at him getting the gains in.
Yeah, that was me. I didn't have a clue, so obviously
Imagine doing that now, mate, whilst you're doing your handstands. You'd be chundering everywhere, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Obviously, I've learned quite a fair bit about nutrition now, but yeah, I just used the products for. He recommended I did a challenge. I used the products for a good couple of weeks. Got a really good result. Cut my body fat down, but my main thing was my energy went right up through the roof because I was back in construction when I first started, and the diet for an average construction worker is absolutely terrible. Coffees, I was drinking 4 or 5 coffees a day. I would get up, have a bowl of porridge, 2 bowls of porridge mostly, get in the van, drive down to the job. I would always stop and get a coffee. It was like a ritual. Couldn't go to work without coffee. There'd always be a muffin or a croissant or a sausage sandwich with that first coffee. And then I'll probably have 3 or 4 others throughout the day, easily, sometimes 5. High carbohydrate, like lunch, like just bowls of pasta in a Tupperware for work. So when you can, obviously you'd appreciate now, when you start adding in like a smoothie or protein porridge instead of all that, the carbs I was having, I got a result really quickly, cut my body fat from, I think I was about 16, 17% body fat. I got down to 5.4% body fat within my first challenge, which was over 6 weeks. And it was my energy. I'd nap in the van at lunch. I'd go home from work, I'd have a nap on the bed before I went to the gym in the evening. And then obviously when you start cutting the coffees out, throw the thermogenic tea in and start eating cleaner, your energy just literally just soars, doesn't it? So that was the big change. And that was the belief. I needed the belief before I'd even look at the business side. Although I was interested in the business, I didn't believe I could do it. And then off the back of my result, I just started sharing it with friends and family. Sharing my result, how I felt, telling as many people as possible. Nobody would do it at first. None of my mates, even my mum and dad were like, "No, I don't believe in potions and herbs." And I was like, "This sucks." But then my mother-in-law and father-in-law both decided to give it a go because they were interested. They'd seen, I was living at theirs actually because I was living with Fran, so they'd seen the change in me day to day, and obviously the habits. So they gave it a go. They both got.
Was Fran using it?
No, she wouldn't use it for, I want to say at least 3 or 4 months.
Really? So her parents got on before she did?
Yeah. She only tried, we'd been out at an event or a party or something and she was hungover. And I was sitting there having my smoothie bowl and she was just obviously feeling rough as dogs and didn't want to eat anything. And I was like, try this. Honestly, this will sort you right out. She had a mouthful of it and then just like nicked the bowl. So I had to go and make another one. And that was it. I don't think she's missed a day since. If we haven't got chocolate F1 and PDM and original tea in stock in the house, I mean, my life's not worth living.
I haven't even tried original tea. Is it nice?
Really? Oh my goodness. Yeah, I have the original tea. Well, I used to love coffee, so I like the bitterness of the original tea. It's a bit more bitter. But yeah, the original tea is the one. And you get in the big tub, so the amount that we churn through, worth having.
Wow. So yeah, they get on with the products, they get results, and then what just spirals out of control?
Yeah, then I actually, obviously people at the gym started seeing, I approached, actually at the time, it was my first member was the gym manager. She saw the difference in me. And you're thinking, wow, first member is a manager of a gym. This is what I was thinking. I was like, wicked, my business is going to take off. So took the gym manager to a home. She started using the products. But and then obviously we started running our own challenges through the gym, and that's when I started really getting results. I think we started like our own body transformation challenges. I think the first one we had like 25 people. We always kept the photo, always kept it, because compared to the amount of people we have in challenges now, it's crazy just to look back and see how far you've come. And that was it really. I just started helping people get results because that's all I knew. I didn't understand the business. I didn't understand the marketing plan for ages. No matter how many times I saw Dan draw out the circles, I didn't get it. But all I knew was how to help people get a good result because I'd done it. So I just kept doing that. And then,
so were you predominantly retailing, were you?
Oh, massively. I retailed to World Team, and then I got stuck because I was like, I'm not duplicating. I can't teach. No, it's not often you can find someone that can retail, 2.5 to 4,000 volume a month on month.
Yeah.
So that's when I had to start taking things seriously, and that's when I looked, I put more time into the training days and understanding the marketing plan. I'd always been to every single training day. Dan, that's one thing that Dan had always said, is like, just always get to the training days because you'll always learn something new. And I was hungry to learn something new. I wanted to know how he had got to where he is. I used to ring him up all the time. The amount of calls he used to get to me, and I used to put out spills. What's the secret? Like, what do I do? And he literally just used to tell me all the time, speak to more people, actually. Like, you aim for 10 people a day, do that for 5 years and you'll be fine. And I was like, I wonder how many people he tells that to. Like, just a load of rubbish. But obviously now, it's just that compound effect of like that time. It's just the consistency over time. And I say it to my members, and I bet they're like, he just keeps telling me to speak to more people. But you know as well as I do, if you're consistent with that and you're patient, it just adds up and it just builds momentum. So it took me a while to build the momentum, but when I'm trying to think what actually was a changing point. I went to Extravaganza. That was what changed. I went to an Extravaganza.
Where was that?
As a new world team. That was Extravaganza in Prague. So I'm not sure of the year of that, but it was my first Extravaganza.
So you would, what were you making, about $1,000 a month?
Oh yeah, because at the time I was retailing hard. Because actually, this was a turning point. I got married. I went straight to Extravaganza about 2 weeks after getting married with my one member and my upline, Pat. We went, just the three of us. But a week after my wedding and the week before I went to Extravaganza, I broke my wrist playing football, double fracture of the radius. So that was the end of my football career. Actually, no, it wasn't. I did play again after that. But that was the end of my construction career because I couldn't hold a trowel. For over a year, I couldn't do anything construction-wise. So if anything, it was a godsend.
Yeah, sounds like
it. Actually made me focus. Because the whole time I was doing a lot of retail, probably, £1,000 a month quite comfortably through retail, not through organisation or team. But I wasn't focused on building the team and building that residual income because I didn't need to. I was still doing, good money in construction. So when I broke my wrist, I had to go all in. So that's when I took the business seriously. Went to Extravaganza. Really opened my eyes to what is possible because I saw people who I'd, moving through the marketing plan that who had moved since I'd been involved. So you're like, oh, actually that instills belief that, these people move and they're no different to me. They just doing a little bit more work than me.
So what is Extravaganza?
So Prague was, it was huge. It was I think it was the biggest one I've been to. I think there was 18,000 Herbalife distributors. I think the qualification that year was active supervisor as well. So it was like, I didn't have a clue. Obviously I'd been to meetings before, like training days, and then you go to an Extravaganza, it's like a rock concert. I mean, you've been there, it literally blows your mind. All the lights, all the music, the DJ, all the different countries with their flags and colours, different colours of their country. It's just mental. And obviously you get to hear from the biggest like coaches and motivational speakers in Herbalife in like EMEA region. It's mental.
Unbelievable. So you come back from that and was like, I've got to do this.
I need to focus on duplication. I was so unduplicatable because I've always been a hard worker and I was working hard, but I was working hard at the wrong things. So I then decided I need to find a model that duplicates and I need to I need to start helping other people start winning as well. So since then, that's pretty much all I've done.
And seems great success, the same as you did with retail.
Yeah. It took a while to you change any model, or you change any like new sort of like, or you start heading in a new direction. It takes a while, but it's just the same thing. It's consistency and patience over time. Get it all the time. I get new members now that are fired up, they're excited, and they're like, what do I do? What do I do? I'm like, mate, just keep doing the simple things, but it's going to take time. A lot of people
for people who are thinking, right, I might give this a try. Yeah. What is your advice to a new member? Is it, because obviously we want to get people to results. What are your first steps?
Results key, and just work and listen.
And how easy is it to get a result? Because I know the answer to this, but
if you're serious and you want to get a result, you can get a result easy. I mean, we do 30-day challenges. We get incredible results on our challenge, and it's so important because it instills the belief. Like, I've had many clients that start because they've seen results and they want to get involved and they want to give it a go, but they have no belief in it and they're very skeptical. Yeah. If you just commit 30 days. I've had, I had a new client lose a stone in December. 30 days in December, which the average person puts on about 10, 12 pounds in December.
We had a guy who lost 2 stone in a 21-day challenge.
What?
Mental, wasn't it? And then the next challenge, he lost another stone. He's like 3 stone down now. But what was I saying? Yeah, so map out a day for a customer or a client of yours or a new member that, right, we need to get you a result. What would their diet look like? Because people think Herbalife this is what I used to think: shake, 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 bed.
Yeah, same.
I used to think it was a meal replacement diet where you don't eat anything. Is that the case with your organisation?
No, not at all. I think you tend to attract like your own sort of like behaviors as well. So I attract quite a few people that want to get, because they see me on my Instagram. I use the products for like muscle gain and sports and fitness, like improving my fitness basically. So I attract quite a few guys from the gym and stuff, and they're the biggest skeptics of it all, which is, they're right in thinking that, because I was exactly the same. But average day for me, and it really does depend on what their goals are. Obviously, a lot of people, especially this time of year, are interested in weight loss. I always say, for one, forget about weight loss. We're not a weight loss company. We're a nutrition company, and our focus is to help you improve your nutrition, your habits, because it's the habits that's going to lead to the long-term result and keeping that result. Because most people have already tried other diets, and they don't adapt any new habits or lifestyle, and they just, ultimately end up going back to square one. So I focus massively on implementing at least 1 or 2 habits per challenge. I'll always recommend people do challenge because it gives them a focus for 30 days. Set your one goal. I tend not to focus on weight loss. It could be fitness if you want to do fitness. It could be dress size. It could just be the visual. So a lot of guys, they're like, I want abs. How do I get abs? Yeah. All right, okay, so it's going to be visual. It's going to be down to your nutrition. And then I'll build a plan around them. So yeah, always start the day with a smoothie. I don't use the word shake because I think there are obviously shake diets, and that's, like you said, everyone just thinks shake. So I don't use the word shake because I don't actually have a shake for myself, unless it's a post-workout shake and I'm at the gym. But still, quite often I'll come home and I'll make my rebuild into a smoothie, add a bit of peanut butter and ice, because I like it like that.
You're known for your bowls, aren't you? I'm
known for the smoothie bowls, yeah. Again, not keeping it too simple, making it a bit complicated, but it works because the guys they make a smoothie themselves, they love it, and it's easy for them to do because it's just like it's like having a protein yogurt for breakfast.
Do all of your organisation and clients have the same?
Pretty much, yeah. They all make smoothies. Yeah. Our challenge groups, just smoothie bowl after smoothie bowl.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you reckon that might have started from Australia? Because you must have had an acai bowl.
Yeah, acai bowls, yeah.
Oh, how good were they?
They're so good,
I wish they had them in the UK, but you basically can make them with Pro 20 already, can't you?
Exactly, yeah. I just make an acai bowl every day. I just don't call it that because people over here won't necessarily know what it is.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, depending on their goal, whatever your snack's going to be. So the snacks are important and your water intake's important. And that's, for one, is a big one. A lot of people don't drink enough water. So I always try and focus on that. Help people get up to 2 or 3 litres of water a day. Healthy, balanced lunch. So we have, on our challenges, we have a list of, we call them fat burning foods. They're not fat burning foods. They don't burn fat, but it's just better choices of foods. Better choices of fruit, veg, leaner proteins, complex carbohydrates. Just better, because that's what people struggle with. They see people eating salads and they think they have to eat a salad all day long, but then they don't know what to go in it. It's quite easy to go wrong even with a salad, isn't it? So we just have a list of foods, depending on your goal, how many of these foods to have each day long, all day long. And it just helps give people that structure. And then we do a lot of recognition as well in the groups. We recognize people who are on fire with it, their nutrition, sharing it, because I'll always encourage sharing, because I just used to copy what I saw my coach and other people doing. I didn't know. And I think that's how you learn, is by copying other successful people, and then share down, which is pretty much what we do. Each one teach one. It's a philosophy I love to follow now. And even as a client, I get people doing it from day one, if I can.
Awesome, mate. So all of your customers and yourself, you're eating, right? And I know it's obvious to say, but people just don't understand it. They think, oh, we just drink shakes for a day. But I reckon I eat more than most people. I just have a shake for my breakfast, right? And it's just understand the nutrition. And we are a health company, not a shake weight loss company, you know? But okay, so I want to ask you about network marketing.
Yeah.
And then I've got like a host of questions I want to ask you that will rattle through about books and stuff, to give people some tangible advice and stuff at the end. I want to ask you about 1, network marketing, and 2, Danny Spiller.
Yeah.
Yeah, go away.
So network marketing?
Yeah, go network marketing first. Because obviously you had a poor dad, you had a job mindset. What is network marketing?
Heavy job mindset. Heavy job mindset. Family guy, absolutely against anything like this, because he just saw it as a scam and a con, and he did.
You're now full time, aren't you?
I part time. I went full time when I broke my arm, and then as soon as I could go back, when I broke my arm, I invested time in doing my fitness instructing, because I had the spare time and the extra income through Herbalife to actually reinvest. And I was like, right, I'm into the nutrition, but I love fitness, so I wanted to get into that. So I didn't want to be a PT at all, because I worked with PTs. I had PTs even at the time in my organization, and I saw what they were doing. It wasn't like, it was very competitive, quite easy. They could turn up for work and then 2 or 3 of their clients cancel, and they've got nothing to do for 3 hours. So they don't want to drive home. So I was like, I don't want to do that, but I loved doing classes anyway. I'm massively into the calisthenics. So I wanted to start an academy and teach people how to do that. So I did my fitness instructing whilst I had a broken arm. Did a calisthenics coaching course, so I could, open my own academy and start teaching adults and kids. Now I teach a lot of kids. But yeah, I like the part-time story. I like to say I earn, I do X amount of hours in fitness, but actually I earn 3 or 4 times that part-time through Herbalife. And everyone's like, what do you do part-time? And it's just a job that you can do anywhere from home. I work from home, and I enjoy.
How many hours do you work a day?
As many as I can. As many as I can.
It could be 1 or it could be 7, right? Or whatever.
Yeah. So like I work less Saturdays and Sundays, but I'll still keep the same rituals and habits. I'll still get up early, and I'll still do my networking. I'll do my personal development. I'll still do, following up with clients, networking and speaking to new clients and prospects every day. That's just something that I've built into my daily habits now that I'll always do. I won't book meetings for Sunday unless they're really important, like meetings with new clients or prospects. I tend to keep Sunday now for family days, doing bits and bobs. But average weekday, 50-50. Actually, no, that's a lie. I probably try, because you work from home, it's hard. I like to say, if I woke up at 5:30, I'd be and I didn't have any classes to do, I would work right up till like 4 o'clock when I start taking a couple of classes. So I actually do a lot more hours than I make out, but it's very easy to become distracted working from home. So it's hard. I can't put a thumb on it. I'll always do as much as I possibly can, and it's never enough.
So
for me, that's only because I'm driven. I want to do
Yeah,
more.
sure.
You see other people
So,
doing very well, and you just want to, like, you just want more out of it, don't you? You want more out of your day.
100%. So if you could explain network marketing in your own, how it's changed your life in one sentence, what would it be?
In one sentence, how network marketing changed my life. Whew. Um, it's massively changed my life. Just the way I think about people. Before, I wasn't really a people person as such, and didn't care about people as much. Do you know what I mean? You just, as an example, I'd turn up to a job and I just think, how can I eke this job out to earn as much money out of this person as possible to build this wall? Do you know what I mean? Because it was all about earning money. Whereas network marketing, and everybody's going to see it differently. For me, I see it as now, it's a passion for helping other people, and most of them you don't even know, but you build new relationships and you help others win. Like, that's what I love. Like, my whole organization, people were like, oh, it's all right for you. You've got a big team, a lot of people. Apart from my sister, who's in my team, I didn't know any one person in my team. All the clients, every single person I didn't know 3 years ago. Now we impact probably close to 200 people a month. And I have people that I meet at our own training days and our own like challenge setups that I've never even met. And they're like, oops, phone's ringing again.
No
I've
worries,
never
mate.
even met. And they're like, oh, I saw your meal that you posted. I love the stir fry thing that you do and you shared in the Facebook group. That's brilliant. Keep doing what you're doing. It's inspiring. And that's when someone comes up to you and you realize you've impacted their life and you haven't even met them yet. It's next level. Like, that's
That's the
fulfilling the
power of
purpose.
network marketing, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And like yourself, like you meet people like yourself who are on the same, they're passionate, they're driven, they want to achieve and help more people. You're not going to meet those sort of people in your day-to-day job.
No.
Like the work environment I grew up in was super negative. Like, no one ever wanted you to do better than them, whereas I want all my team members to do better than me. But never would the bricklayer next to me ever want me to be better than him. And if I did get better than him, he'd get spiteful, like might lean on your wall or hide your tools. Do you know what I mean? And that sort of stuff happened all the time. It was dog eat dog, because if they were better than you, they were going to get paid more than you. Whereas in network marketing, my sole purpose is to help as many people get as far as possible and get out of network marketing what they actually want, which everybody is slightly different. But the more people I can make, earning a good income, in good health, and helping and impacting other people's lives, the more fulfilling my job is.
Unbelievable, mate. Love it. So, books, you've mentioned a few already.
Yeah.
The first one was, what book have you gifted most? I think, is it Rich Dad Poor Dad?
Rich Dad Poor Dad by far, yeah. Bought it 5 times, I think, and audio as well, so 6 times.
Nice. And what are your top 3 books?
Top 3 books now. Okay. It's hard because you always want to say the ones you've read most recently. I'm gonna say Rich Dad Poor Dad's in the top 3 because it started everything.
Yeah.
It's a practical book. You can implement it straight away, and it's easy to read. You don't have to. I think you can literally read it in a week. Do it a couple of hours a day. Like, you can. It's hard to put down, and you can implement it straight away into your life. And it gives you lots of different things you can start working on, not just one thing, which is great. And it's probably it's probably the most read book I've read. I've read it, front to back multiple times.
Yeah.
The other 2, I'm going to say what actually one that you recommended I read, The One Thing. Love that.
You're a big fan.
Big
Is that
fan
top
of
3?
The One Thing. It is, again, it's because I've read this one within the last 3 or 4 months. But for me, it made me really focus on, the one thing. And I focused on the things I was rubbish at, which is like time, organization. It made a big change. I actually read it just before I started like a 90-day plan, or it might have been as I was at the start of a 90-day plan. I implemented a lot of it into that 90-day plan. So it came to me at the right time. So yeah, it was really powerful.
Isn't it
Right,
weird how books do like crop up at the right time in your life?
yeah, yeah, I know
Or
they do.
people arrive at the right time, or it always happens when it's supposed to happen.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
her
And it's
life happen, or like your wrist, like do you know what I mean,
yeah,
or whatever happens,
crazy. You can't make it up.
always comes at the right time. Nah, it's weird.
No, yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, I
One
don't
more
know how to
book.
explain that one. Um, got a few written down. I'm going to put it's between Think and Grow Rich and The Slight Edge, because I'm reading The Slight Edge now and I love it. Like, happiness habits is again something I've implemented, because I love personal development, and it even says in the book like 1 in 10 people will actually pick it up and do it, which is so true. Probably about 1 in 10 of my organisation do it, and I harp on about it all the time. It's so powerful. And there's a really good bit in The Slight Edge where he talks about just changing your language to building happiness habits, and the amount of people that are more willing to start working on their happiness instead of their personal development. And it's exactly the same thing. You're just changing language.
Why do you think it's 1 in 10?
I think most people just, I mean, it comes down to time, and it's what people invest their time in. And I think a lot of people don't see, because people just want results real fast. Everything's about time these days. They don't see the long-term benefits because they haven't done it, of pumping hours into reading or audio into personal development, because they haven't given it long enough to do it. Do you know what I mean? Whereas like, it's easy for me and you to say, yeah, it's the most valuable thing I do now because of how it's changed our lives. But so that's why I think an easy book.
I think the thesis of the Slight Edge though is it's constant and never-ending improvement, isn't it? So like, yeah. And have you obviously read the story within the Slight Edge where there's the 3 guys?
I've got it here.
There's basically 3 guys.
I'm just over halfway through.
It might well be in the compound effect actually, which is the same kind of thing. But yeah, there's 3 guys. I've actually spoke about this on my podcast. One of them carries on doing what he's always done and carries on getting what he's always got. One of them gets a new bar in his house and starts eating a bit more.
Yeah.
Only small amounts, like an extra 300 calories a day. And one of them starts a new health kick, starts personal development, and nothing happens in the first 3 months. But over 2 years, the one who got what he's always got is still the same. He's miserable. The one who was increasing his diet by a small amount gained 2 stone. And the one who got into his fitness and personal development got a massive pay rise and lost 2 stone. So he got 4 stone lighter than his mate. It just shows you that difference in 2 years, which is where it's at. So like, love that. I love that 2 of them books are books that I've recommended to you as well. That's powerful.
Exactly, man.
Gifting a book is so much more powerful than any other present, I swear, because of what that can do for that person.
I give mine away. Obviously, I'd like to get them back. And if any of my team members listen to this, if you've read it, give it back, because I can give it to someone else. But yeah, I love it. Like, once you've read it, I do often read them again, but I'd rather someone else get it.
Yeah.
Get the value of it.
Love that, mate. So a purchase of £100 or less that has most positively impacted your life.
That's a good one. £100 or less.
And then we're going to do one more question, I think, mate.
I think it's going to come down. That's going to be maybe a multitude of things. Like, I'm going to say a journal.
Yeah,
that was a big thing. Another thing you recommend, it's right here. So the
best self journal.
Best self journal, which has got a funny story behind it as well. Yeah, get your journal. It's only cost you 25 quid, and then comes from Europe, and then I order it and it comes from America and costs me $55. But I think that $55 is well invested. Or 55.
How many weeks into it are you now?
So I paused. I started using it well over halfway through my 90-day plan, which is annoying. And I got it and I wanted to use it straight away, because obviously it's designed for a 90-day plan, isn't it? So I started using it straight away, and then as soon as I finished my 90-day plan on the 15th of December, I paused because it's dateless, which is good. And then I just started again today. Today is day 1 of like the back 9. I'll just get another one. I think it's so good for the consistency and for the goal setting, and just keeping you, again, focused on that one thing. But I started that and I read the one thing at the same time, Just so happens you recommended them both to me, which is
Yeah.
coincidence. But they work so well together. So, you know what I mean? That's probably about 70 quid. But those two things together, powerful. But actually, if for the audience, if it isn't one of those, get yourself Audible.
Yeah, I mean,
it's going to cost you.
You can't buy them journals for like 20 quid, 25 quid. You just bought them from the wrong place, I think.
I just wanted to get that one.
Combined, it would cost you about 30 quid, wouldn't it?
Yeah, 30 quid.
Changer. And another book that's really good, by the way, with the journal, it's called The 12-Week Year.
12-week year.
It's great. How you can achieve more in 12 weeks than you can in a whole year.
Like
I read that when I first started a journal, using these journals. I've used them back to back for the last 2 years, I think now.
Yeah, that's it. I'm a journalman now. I'm going to use one all the time.
You're a journalman.
This helps. Journalman.
The last question, mate. You've got a massive billboard, and it stays there forever. Timeless billboard in the busiest town in the world, and you can have anything on it. What message would you have on this billboard, knowing that it's going to impact millions of people?
You know, I thought about this one hard because I was like, this is a really interesting one, quite difficult actually. But I came and it went. I just had to. It goes back to your purpose and I think you yourself. So like your why. And I put down your vibe attracts your tribe. It's a philosophy of. I think I heard James Temple or Jeff Williams talk about it maybe over a year ago, or maybe I think it was when I just first hit active well team, first time when I first qualified, and I realized I was doing this without realizing what it was. And it is basically just constant, like you said, constant never-ending journey yourself, constantly improving how you can improve, because you're going to attract people. The happier, the healthier, the fitter, the more encouraging, you know, all those positive attributes. The better you are, the better you're going to attract. So if you want to attract good people into your life, like good members or good work colleagues, or even just like-minded people, they're only ever going to be attracted to you if you're attractive yourself, and if you're going to be of value to them. So I'm a big believer in your vibe attracts your tribe, and being all you can be to help others, because it's going to attract people into your life that are going to help you too.
So basically, it's your vibe attracts your tribe. # be more.
# be more. Yeah. The other one I was going to put was each one teach one, because that's another one that I love. You know, just I always tell it to my guys when they're like, how do I build an active well team? How do I get, you know, how X amount of members? I'm like, just focus on teaching one person and then teach them to teach one person. And that's all I do. I don't think about how many people I'm helping. I just focus on, you know, in the journal, who I'm going to help today, one new client. And I help that one person help themselves first, and then give them the simple tools of how to help somebody else.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's going to lead to consistent results.
Love it, mate. It's been awesome having you on. Where can we find you on social media? What's your social media tags?
Instagram, at Mash24Fit. I'm on Facebook, Benjamin Mash, but I'm on Instagram. I'm into Instagram.
Oh, we didn't get into Danny Spiller.
Danny Spiller, yeah.
1 minute on Danny Spiller.
1 minute on Danny Spiller. Massively inspiring guy. When I first met him, I was like, what's going on here? Like, he's a good looking chap. He looked pristine, but it's only when you actually get 2 or 3 minutes to actually sit down and talk to him, like, the guy cannot do enough to help you. Like, he's super successful, arguably the most successful, you know, Herbalife distributor in the country. He doesn't need to spend time helping out the likes of me. He's got some serious business going on, but he will always find time for anybody, client, member in his team, just to help them in any way he can. And he keeps it super simple. It doesn't go into too much detail, just focus on the simple things. He's always told me, focus on speaking to 10 people a day, and always focus on getting, like, helping one more person or helping somebody, which is, you know, it aligns to everything that I teach now.
Yeah.
Super humble guy though. Like, yeah. You've met him? You met Dan?
I've never spoken to him. I've seen him at events, but obviously when I got involved, I think I come across his social media and see that he was driving around in Ferraris and Bentleys. Yeah. And I was just like, what's the crack here? And then I obviously heard at events like what he's doing, and the income that he's pulling in. I didn't think that existed in Herbalife. Like obviously I had Kevin Green on the podcast and heard him say his income, and I was like, he must be the top earner in the world. But then you realise that there's people in the UK earning like 4 times that amount almost, and then worldwide there's people earning 15 times that a month. Like it's crazy numbers, isn't it?
It is crazy, yeah. And I remember the first meeting I went to, and like he's always open. He'll always share what is possible, and he's always like, it's not to like boast or show off; it's to show you what's possible. Like if you are willing to put in the time, and he works hard for it, fully deserves it. But in my time, I've seen him double his income in Herbalife, which is crazy.
That's in 4 years, is it?
In not even 3 years. It'll be 4 years in May, I think. I'll be 3 years. Sorry.
He teaches talk to 10 a day, which is I think a network marketing. Like basically every company says this, right? So that's the price. What's the promise? What's he earning?
What's he earning now?
Yeah, because people are going to be intrigued, aren't they? I don't think.
Last time I saw him share his check, it was just over 100,000 a month.
That is mental, isn't it?
Mental.
People have no idea that Herbalife is like that much opportunity. And I can guarantee people who listen to this podcast now will be like, just mind blown, jaw dropped, like just from helping people in the country and what his organisation must be impacting. How many people in the UK do you reckon?
Well, he came down and did a launch for one of our 30-day challenges back in the summer, and he had just hit the 1 million volume a month. So he's impacting over 10,000 people every single month. And that was back in August.
And he started 6 years ago, was it 7?
I think he's coming on 7 years now, yeah. So yeah, talk to 10
man.
a day for 7 years. And that's it. But the thing is, people don't see it as that. They don't believe it. But actually, it's like you said, it's a compound effect. You're not going to see it.
At an event, success knows one thing, and it's consistency.
Yeah.
And that sums up really, isn't it? Obviously, he's just been consistent with that price every day and done it when he probably didn't feel like doing it every day, day in, day out. And he's found people and helped about 10,000 people a month now. It's mental, isn't it?
Exactly.
And he's only going to continue to the compound effect once that gets going, once the cogs are running on that, and obviously they are, it's only going to multiply and multiply and multiply.
Yeah, and he's seriously humble about it as well. Like he's the most down-to-earth person. Like and quite easy to pick up the phone and have a chat with him. He's
earning like a Premier League footballer's income, and you can phone him and chat to him whenever because he's your upline, right?
Yeah. Well, he's coming down next week to do a meeting for us. Like if I want him to come and help, he'll always come and help, and he always does.
It's crazy. You don't get that in any other business, do you? Really, where somebody who's that high profile, doing that well, who would support you. Do you know what I mean? I just don't. This is where network marketing for me is like just better than anything else out there. Yet people are really, really skeptical. But yeah, that's just blowing me away as well. So
yeah, it's crazy. Well, I mean, you have it with Kev.
Yeah,
like, he doesn't have to work with you the way he does, but he's always willing to because he wants to see you do better and become more.
Be more.
Love
it. Thanks for coming on, mate. And
no worries.
At Mash24Fit Insta.
Yeah, Mash24Fit Instagram. Yeah.
Anywhere else that you share content that you want people to go check out?
No, I'm all Instagram. I should definitely develop onto other platforms, but I'm pretty much all Instagram.
Nice, mate. Thanks for coming on, buddy. And
no worries, Ledge.
We'll see you. Let's do another one in 6 months' time. We can just document your journey and progress from there. The books.
Well, 90 days. After I finish my 90-day plan.
Are you on a 90-day plan now? Are you?
I'm setting it today. I've just started back. I'm going to set a new 90-day plan today, or
Love
this
it.
week, 100%.
Love it. Right. Thanks for coming on, mate.
No worries, bye.
Thank you very much for listening, guys and girls. I hope you got heaps of value from that podcast. I am really, really excited by the interviews that we've had already on the podcast so far this year, and it's only literally the first week of the month, first week of the year, really. It's like, what today? 8th today. Buzzing to get this out, and really looking forward to trying to create a really positive audio for you to listen to when you're commuting, full of stories of people that are inspiring you into action to be more this year in 2019. Hopefully you're getting value from it. If you are, be sure to subscribe to the podcast on whatever platform you listen to and leave us a review. I'll be massively appreciative if you did that. And I will see you in the next one. Plenty more big interviews to come.